Hello everyone, this is the second video clip for the last lecture of this class, which is about the evaluation of transportation security. In the last video clip, we talked about evaluations and assessments from DHS itself. Although we also introduced TSA and Coast Guard, their methods for evaluation, but they both report to DHS. So in general, last video clip was about self-evaluation and assessment of transportation security um, from DHS, right? And these reports, although a lot of them they are open to the public, but the main audience is personnel and the leadership of DHS itself. So besides that, we still need evaluations from outside DHS, from the third party, okay? Because the Congress and the general public, they also need to know what is going on there inside DHS and all those transportation security related agencies, right? They also need to know about the effectiveness of various transportation security programs. And these third parties include Office of Inspector General. It's called OIG. It's a part of DHS, and it looks like it reports to DHS, but it is not, because this office exists in all governmental departments. Okay, I'll introduce that later. The second one is GAO, is called Government Accountability Office. It also reports to Congress, okay, just like OIG. And we also have non-governmental research organizations. They're also doing assessments, evaluations on transportation security, and they are non-governmental, which means they do not say officially report to government, but we should not say that their political position is purely neutralized. Is purely neutral. Okay, they still have their political preference. Say that. So the first one, Department of Homeland Security, OIG. Like I said, OIG is not something exclusive to DHS. It's actually an office established by the Inspector General Act of 1978. It exists in all existing federal departments and most independent federal agencies. So as long as there is a department, when it is established, there is always an OIG established simultaneously. So no matter what department this OIG is in, the task on, the duty of OIG stays the same in general, okay? First, conduct and supervise audits and investigations relating to the programs and operations of that department, and also provide leadership and coordination and recommend policies for specific activities, and also provide a means for keeping the head of the agency and also the Congress fully and currently informed about the problems and deficiencies, right? Challenges relating to the administration of such programs and operations, and the necessity for and progress of corrective action. So basically, OIGs, they are overseeing different departments of US. Specifically, DHS OIG. So because all those OIGs, they have the general principle here, right? Three objectives. So DHS OIG was created along with DHS itself in the Homeland Security Act of 2002 after 9/11, right? So the objectives of OIG from DHS, you can say if you compare these objectives to this screenshot here, they are consistent with each other, right? For DHS itself, its OIG maybe have some specific special tasks, right? Regarding the Homeland Security, but you can say if you compare them, they are similar to each other, okay? And DHS OIG specifically also provides an annual assessment. So this assessment is in general a summary of the challenges faced by DHS and maybe some recommendations and some evaluations about how DHS addresses these challenges and how to improve. So for example, for the fiscal year 2012, the report identified the following as major challenges facing TSA. Okay, you should also know that this report, this assessment, is not exclusive to transportation security because DHS is far beyond transportation security. Okay, so here these challenges, they are related to transportation security, okay? They are for TSA. So first one, for example, airport access control and checkpoint screening vulnerabilities were identified at the domestic airports tested secretly or covertly tested. For these vulnerabilities, of course, transportation security officers, they're responsible. For example, some passengers they missed the screening, okay? And also TSA is responsible because there is still space for them to improve the procedure of screening and are responsible for the better training for TSOs to make them more, say, efficient, more responsible, right? And also another challenge is badge holder records. Badge holders, they are basically officers with badges or with clearance to access secured airport areas. Their records with omissions or inaccurate information, which means that criminals or terrorists, they could use this say the deficiency in the records to penetrate this security layer, right? And also identify the vulnerabilities in air cargo screening procedures to detect and prevent explosives. This could be about the performance of the devices used in this process, or it could be about the design of the screening process, right? And also TSA does not have guidance for and oversight of the reporting process of security breaches at airports. And at the end, it mentioned a little bit something besides aviation security. Amtrak did not mitigate critical vulnerabilities reported in risk assessments, which means they did not care enough for reported risk assessments, right? So basically, that's what OIG in DHS do. They oversee DHS, and they also produce reports of. It's just like they're holding a WAPE. They're WAPing DHS, and not maybe because they're everywhere in different departments, right? In all departments, they are actually doing the same thing. And the second office here as a third party to evaluate and assess the transportation security is GAO. Again, it's Government Accountability Office, so it's not only for transportation security, right? They have a lot of reports and work to do, but transportation is a part of their job, right? GAO actually had another name. Okay, it was General Accounting Office with the same abbreviation, GAO, but after 2004, its name was changed from the original one to the current one. It's called Government Accountability Office. It's actually more straightforward, right? So it's reporting to it reports to Congress, right? Their tasks include auditing agency operations to determine whether federal funds are being spent efficiently and effectively. So again, they are overseeing. They are an oversight agency or office, right? Investigating allegations of illegal and improper activities of the government, reporting on how well government programs and policies are meeting their objectives, and issuing legal decisions and opinions in certain instances. For example, for bid competing rules, right? If there are multiple government contractors, they are competing for a program from the government, there must be rules in the bidding process, right? And making recommendations to Congress and the heads of federal agencies, right? So they are, again, they are overseeing the whole government, and they also provide recommendations because they are the third party. They are the third party observing the government. So they also have the responsibility to give advice, right? And for transportation security, it's just a small part of GAO's job. In 2013, GAO summarized the performance and the challenges of DHS in its first 10 years. From more than 1,300 reports and 1,800 recommendations. But you should know these challenges. They cover different parts of DHS, and the transportation security is just a small part of DHS. Okay, but in general, GAO gave positive feedbacks on the job of DHS had done in its first 10 years. And other independent assessments from non-governmental projects and organizations, I would like to introduce two very famous ones. The first one is called Homeland Security Project. Okay, it was initiated by Harvard Kennedy School. Okay, it's an organization from Harvard University. Okay, the purpose, it explores the challenges and choices surrounding the unique aspects of protecting the American homeland. Okay, so it's non-governmental organization, but it mainly focuses on the security of US instead of other countries. Its key role with respect to transportation security specifically has been in serving as a successor to the 911 Commission in monitoring the compliance with the 911 Commission's transportation security recommendations. If you remember, the 911 Commission gave a lot of recommendations after their investigation, and they themselves, all those members of 911 Commission, after the dismiss of the commission, they also monitored the implementation of their recommendations. But Homeland Security Project is another organization doing the same thing. Okay, and also it issued a report in September 2011, exactly 10 years after 9/11, to address the implementation of 911 Commission's transportation security recommendations. And in general, they also gave the positive feedback of for TSA, for DHS job on implementing all those recommendations. And another non-governmental organization is called RAND Corporation. Actually, I don't think it's non-governmental. Okay, by definition, it's a non-profit organization that seeks to help improve policy and decision making through research and analysis, and their target is not limited to US, but that's only just by definition, because Rand Corporation is a huge, not a contractor. They are heavily financed by U.S. government, and they also receive donations from different companies and individuals. So it's pretty hard to say that it's politically neutral. And when we say it's a non-governmental organization, it's it's an official property or announcement of the corporation, but it is highly financed by U.S. government. So yeah, I would not say it's a pure non-governmental organization or corporation, but yeah, no matter. It has been particularly involved in research on terrorism and aviation security. Okay, and it published a paper in August 2012. It actually was closely related to transportation security. It comprehensively assessed the threats faced by aviation industry specifically, right? Because when we're talking about transportation security in U.S., yeah, it's actually a fact not only in U.S. Around the world. Aviation is always the first priority, right? And evaluated the effectiveness of trusted traveler programs like PreCheck, right? And different other traveler programs from TSA, from customs protection. Okay, and again, in that paper, the say the general assessment, the general comment from Rand Corporation is positive, but they also mentioned the drawbacks, the vulnerabilities that DHS and other related transportation security related agencies, they need to address to improve the transportation security in US. Okay, yeah, this is the second part of the lecture, and I think one more video clip will be good enough to close this chapter. So see you later. Thanks.